Good evening. Buongiorno, buonasera. It's like middle evening-ish, for me at least. Hello, yes, you can earn Apple TV Plus rewards if you subscribe right now. I don't know how to turn that off. I wish I knew. But I think it's going to end on, like, the 19th, so it's probably just not worth it. Though, considering I am streaming the Pokemon World Championship this weekend, I might need to turn that off, as that feels like an illicit cross-marketing scheme. I don't want to associate... I would not want to besmirch the good Pokemon name with Apple TV. Thankfully, it might not be available in your region. It might not be rolled out globally. It might be something us Americans and like Europeans have to do. Oh, you've seen it elsewhere though. Okay, then I don't know. Typically with stuff like that, I assume it's only in like America and Europe because people have their priorities thrown out of whack. Hello, Fuba. Hello, Lua. Two folks I haven't seen around these parts in quite some time. We're programming today, which is good. I'm actually like reasonably in the clear with the specific tasks that I'm trying to accomplish here. Wait, did my Unity crash? No, we're good. Okay. On Saturday, Sunday, I don't remember. Days are all the same. I entered the non-verbal programming slipstream to accomplish my dark task here of getting this to work. I was so fed up with the pattern that I was trying to solve for. But anyway, I've got it now. We have our little VFX config. You can choose any of the VFX options that VTube Studio has at its disposal. I'm going to select analog glitch. I can make the strength map to like the linear heart rate dealy, and it should just go. And of course now it's not, so something is amiss. Why? What's happening? Big womp womp. I had this working on Sunday. What would make it not work? Selected effect on. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Okay, check this out. Check this. It's because I reset the setting. So when I hit my reset button down here, it sets all these other parameters to 0. So let's make these pulse. Let's do something like this. There we go. Color drift. Pulse. There we go. That's kind of what we're looking for. So then as your heart rate settles back down to normal, that stops happening. And then as you get more worked up, you can like phase out of existence. This is what I've been wanting to have happen, basically. Kind of hurts the eyes a bit. Exactly. It's a little too extreme, right? Because right now I'm just literally mapping a value from 0 to 1 based on the interpolation between these two values, right? Which means that even if you're at like a pretty normal rate, like say you're saying your absolute minimum resting is like 76, like what I have here, and you're at 90, which is, you know, kind of excited, but not crazy high, you're still going to be shaking like this all the time, which I don't think I want. There's got to be a way to like normalize it. So what I'm thinking of doing, let's stop that. What I'm thinking of doing is adding an additional like option to each of these. I also gotta like make this pretty. This is very utilitarian right now, where it's just like, here's the label, here's the thing. Anyway, I'm thinking of adding a slider to each of these that goes between -1, +1. You could either static... Well, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't make the effect. The effect is something that comes out of VTube Studio. Yeah, so, like, you could turn these off, for example. So, like... That still does a bit of a shake. Hold on. Why is that doing a shake? Oh, I know why. I need a way to zero these out. The other thing is, my UI here is not terribly robust. So like I have to go to my analog settings here and turn horizontal. When I set it to none, it doesn't set the value back to 0. Maybe it should, but it doesn't. It just stops adjusting it. So now if I go in here and crank this up, I should stop shaking. Kind of. Yeah, anyway, the goal is to, like, basically be Bochi the Rock. Where she, like, freaks out and has a meltdown every time she has to speak to people. But yeah, like this, it's highly configurable. These are all effects that VTube Studio offers out of the box. There we go. We can reset that. I can do like this one's kind of fun. Data mosh strength, just like linear. So like I look like I'm having terrible bitrate problems, but it's totally fine actually. This is on purpose. Another effect you could like scale with how stressed out you are, that kind of thing. And as you return back to normal, it goes away. Lots of cool effects that VTube Studio has built in, but right now they're all pretty much set to be static. I had to twist Denshi's arm to get these to be configurable via the API so that I could make them scale. The one I had in my head this whole time was just the like jitter and color drift one that we just looked at together. Like this was what I was imagining the entire time. Was eventually you just destabilize when you get too stressed out. But yeah, so I got this all working in a really utilitarian kind of way. Today's goal is to try and make it a little bit more configurable without being opaque or confusing to the end user. I think it's too aggressive right now. It'll trigger very visceral effects like what we just saw, even when you're only slightly above your considered minimum resting heart rate. And yeah, the idea is just for, you know, horror games or whatever, Ring Fit, you can make your model freak out and have a good time. Let's see. So I want to go to my UI, prefabs, modules, outputs. I've also had a really good time looking at this code that I wrote and project that I set up last touched in 2022. It's not how I'd set things up these days at all. It's very confusing. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to add a drop down here, which I think we have a thing for. Drop down prefab, something like this. Oh wait, not drop down, sorry, slider. Yeah, exactly. Bochi is the example I keep using to explain it to people what I'm trying to have happen here. Slider is what I'm looking for. Slider. Wait. Do I really not have like a slider? Let's fix that. Okay, so let's add this to UI, prefabs, elements. How do I not have a slider? That's crazy. Okay. Slider. There we go. Back to where we were, VFX. Nope, not that one. Oh, and then I want it to be on the effect, this thing. We add a little slider, maybe have a tiny bit of padding between these, just a smidge. Spacing like 2, 5, I don't know. And then the slider will have a value between minimum of -1, maximum of 1, default value 0, like such. And then I kind of want to have the fill area be fill. I kind of don't want. I don't care about that. And my fill area, and then the handle. What's determining the background here? This thing. Okay. So can we duplicate that? Hey Sari, how's it going? You've got a thing going on tonight, right? You've got like a live 2D event of the season. Right, you've got like a new model, I think. There we go. I want to do like that, and then the rest of the background can be green. The handle can be, we'll just do black for now. So, are you excited for Pokemon Worlds this coming weekend? I know, I certainly am. I do got a thing happening tonight. Awesome, we love to hear it. We love when things happen. Okay, so yeah, this is going to 0.5, and this is going to be 0.5 to 1. So now we have our slider split into 2 halves. This one is going to be red. This one's going to be green. Our handle is black. So the idea here is that this is a slider that would let you basically tune this down or up. I need to find a way to convey that nicely. So now we can go into here. And we can do... hop over to VTube Studio. Lua, I know you're just lurking for Apple TV Plus reward drops, which is fine. I'm not going to cast any judgment, but I am curious what you're up to these days, if you're allowed to talk about it. Which might be kind of like, not a can of worms, this phrase I'm looking for, asking you to step onto a rake. I might be knowing that you probably can't talk about whatever you're doing, but I'm always interested. I love hearing from you. Excited to see Kyogre perform at the highest level. Definitely won't get bored of horses this weekend. True! The best part about Worlds is knowing that none of the winning Pokemon will ever be able to play again. I'm so excited that they're taking away legendaries as soon as Worlds happens. I think that's honestly really based and incredibly cool. What am I looking for? Unity off. VS Code on. Browser off. VS Code on. There we go. Anyway, so we're going to have a slider here. Oh, it knows how to do the import automatically. That's so based. I didn't think it did. Public float. Easy. We have a little modifier that can fluctuate between 1 and -1. And I'm thinking all we need to do is in our apply effect thing. Where was I? I don't think there's a regional in the UK during Regulation H, but I'm typically going to find one. I applied to go work at the Baltimore regional. I will obviously be very vocal about it if I get in. I am very excited for it, frankly, because I think Baltimore has the option, or the potential to be one of the best tournaments of all time, because the format is just ridiculous. The no legendary edict this late in the generation is kind of unheard of. So I think people will build very, very interesting teams where the power level is much lower, which means that the actual matches are a little more strategic, at least for a spectator standpoint. There are like more turns you can get invested in the storyline. There are fewer one-shots because the power level is just inherently lower. It's going to be a more defensive metagame. But like the only other tournament we ever had like that was San Diego, and we only ever got one like that. And nobody knew what they were doing really because it was the first tournament of the entire generation. But now people have like 2 years of experience with this generation and these weird mechanics and these Pokemon, and they know what they're doing, and they're going to be using the funny little guys for it. Annihilate will win a regional in 2024. It's going to be awesome. What was I doing? Plus item dot modifier. So I think this is all I need to do. We have our little slider. You can go between plus and minus. I might add like the number on the actual handle. That might be kind of based. But we're going to let you basically adjust plus or minus the value you're printing out here. So we have our slider, like such. So now, it doesn't look awesome. Why is it doing that? That's okay. It doesn't have to, well, maybe it does have to look good. You need to like re-render, you good? You're not good. Okay, hold on. Oh, right, okay. This is now 90? There we go. Calling Baltimore New England is not correct, but that's okay. I forgive you. You're not from here. You're actually from Old England. So that's okay. It's not close. I would be probably taking a train to get there, and it would probably be about 6 or 7 hours. Which I know is unthinkable for folks over in Europe, but that's how big our stupid country is. But I can still get there by train, which is very cool. Hey, Dentuo. Yeah, but make no mistake, Maryland is not part of New England. Okay, so yeah, what we were seeing before is like, let's crank this heart rate all the way up, and I'm going crazy, right? Too aggressive. Way too aggressive of a value. Or like even just like something modest, like 90 BPM. I'm shaking too much. But now I can crank... Why? Why can I not... Hold on. Why is this handle not... Huh? What's going on here? Why is it not grabbable? Is something blocking it? Shouldn't be. I don't understand. It is closer than Charlotte or Orlando. You are correct. Our country is just stupid big. So you're not wrong. It is about half the distance to Orlando from where I am. But it is not my region. So yeah, why can't I... Why can't I slider this? I don't understand why this, like the other slider, which is using the same thing, is working. Why can't I touch this one? I'm actually kind of really confused. If I manually adjust this slider... Oh! I know why. Because I have this set to be whole numbers only, which is not what I want on my other one. It's what I want for the heart rate specific value, but this was whole numbers only, so it looked like I couldn't slide it around because it wanted either extreme. Effect. So this slider is not whole numbers only, quite the opposite, in fact. So now, I'm shaking a lot. My heart rate's like 95, which is kind of elevated, but I can offset this back down to like, I probably want to print out the number here. Oh yeah. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. It's always good to hear from you. Art's looking great, by the way. Congratulations on getting recognition from all of your HoloLive Ushis, as it were. I'm sure that feels very good. And certainly deserved. Keep it up. Hello, Eidolon. How's it going? I'm just goofing around out here with my funny little heart monitor nonsense. I got this working, basically, as it were. Well, I'd like it if this could snap to 0. That would kind of feel nice, I feel. But yeah, so, as it were, I've got this kind of working. As you can see, I'm, like, jittering a whole bunch. I've got a UI that is dynamic in that it populates based on values that exist from VTube Studio. It's telling me what parameters exist on this glitch effect, which is cool. And so, like, the theory here would be, like, you know, I get panicked in a horror game, my heart rate spikes, and I'm, like, suddenly dematerializing. But this effect is extremely aggressive, maybe too aggressive. So what I want to do is have another additional modifier on top of this. So, like, the strength of this will scale linearly, but we want to dampen it a little bit, right? Like, have it this offset maybe a little bit less. And to that end, it's like that. So then when my heart rate goes back to like a normal value, like, you know, we're at 90 or something, which is barely above my resting of 75. It's not totally panicked. Or if I, you know, completely crank this out, I'm still within like a pretty reasonable bound of visual effect. You could dampen this even further if you really wanted to. Yeah, it's a cool filter, right? This is just something that VTube Studio has out of the box, which I think is very neat. There are other effects. A lot of them aren't as well suited for like what I'm trying to convey here, but I do just have them all available because I think, why not? You could do like lens distortion. Oh wait, hold on. Let me turn off analog nonsense before I jump to another filter. That's another thing I need to figure out. It's like if you turn this off, should it just reset your settings to 0 like that? I'm not quite sure yet. I also need to make it so if you do the reset, it snaps these back to 0, I think. I think that's what I want to do. There's so many knobs and levers and like other settings you can dial in to make this look really good. I gotta figure out how I want to present that to people without it being completely overwhelming, you know? Kind of a trick, but we'll see what we can do. I want to do the, what was it? Blur? Why not? It's like I can do that, and then so I have my strength is linear, visibility is going to be like pulsing. I think that's what I want. There you go. So like another weird effect you can do. Blur, that kind of thing. This isn't particularly well suited for the heart rate effect, but it is just another cool out-of-the-box filter that you can control. Yeah, okay. So we're in pretty good shape in that regard. So let's see, what do I want to do? I want to make it so when you reset, this goes back to 0, I think. Well, first, actually, let's make the handle not pitch black. Should just be white. Probably. And then also, let's add a little text. Onto the handle. This will be like 2. And the font color is going to be black. And the font is... I'm not sure which font this is supposed to be. It's been so long since I've dealt with this. I think it's this one. Okay. Something like that, yeah. Would be good. And that's gonna, in theory, be the, like, value that's currently selected by the slider. So let me... Yeah, it's gonna be like 12. So let's disable that by default, but it's the thing we have access to. So if we go to our effect parameter, we can turn that on. And what we want to do is back in VS Code. We're going to want to set the value of our slider here. Or rather, not set the value. We're going to do... What are we going to do? We could just do an update function. That might be the easiest way. And I want to map this to like 2 decimal places probably. 1 second. That's going to be sure. Float to string. I think there probably won't be enough space on the handle to print what I want to print. So I can do that. And then we're going to say... change, and then we're also going to need to update the save data here. Modifier, we're going to do easy. Oh, I think I need to make the string I want to modify serializable so I can set up an inspector. Serialize field. Okay, how does this look? Okay, not super readable. That's okay. What's the best way to solve this? Do I just make the font size really, really small? Let's examine this. Yeah, I feel like that's just not going to be readable in most cases. But where should I put... Should the number even be exposed? Do we care? Does it matter? I'm not sure. And I'm sure for you guys on stream, that's super not readable. It's like tiny, tiny, tiny. It might matter. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, the one we have here, it's not printed because it's just the number up here. So it doesn't matter if you can see the number on this slider. But for here, I feel like you might want to know. But while we're messing around with stuff, let's see. If I just dial these all in randomly, does it save? These actually, none of them should. Let's see. Now this one should save. So if I turn this off, does it remember that I had it like -0.5? It does. Actually remembers where all of them are, which is kind of cool. Very interesting. On the slider, I can't even see the number. Exactly, yeah. Like I said, this main one on the input does not have a number printout because the number printout is just the heart rate at the top of the app. But for this one, I feel like it might be useful. Not sure. And then if I like indent the side or whatever, I feel like that is hard to read. Kind of incongruous with my other UI design sensibilities here. I'm not sure. But we've usability aside, we've achieved the effect that we wanted, which is if I go to my analog distortion again, analog glitch, and I say that I want the strength of this and this and this to all be linear, and my color drift linear, why not? I can tamp these way down. Like way down, and I can tamp them all down independently. So like my horizontal shake, I can tamp way, way, way down. So it still scales linearly. My color drift, I can tamp way, way, way down. So expressions are a whole different thing. Yeah. Like when you say, I assume these can be tied to model expressions, like triggering like this weird rendering effect when I make a certain expression. I actually don't think so, but that's kind of outside the purview of this plugin, right? That's like two unrelated things. What you could do is you could have your expression, like let's do angry, activates above, deactivates below, 100 BPM. So like, see, I'm angry now, because my heart rate is in theory above 100. It's got my eyebrows tilted. I got the comedy symbol on my head. But if I slow this back down, I get back to normal. So you can kind of link them in that way. There's no way to make it so when you do the expression outside of this, it triggers one of the VFX. That's kind of outside the scope of what I'm aiming to do here. But with this, you could at least link them to be similar values, right? So above 100, it does the expression, and also these things just kind of scale up. So yeah, I think the solution I have here for this VFX thing, where you just have like a modifier slider, is the right way to do this. And I think my README here is just gonna need, which I need to fill in, by the way. That's gonna be part of what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, that would be a situation where showing the number. Well, the number doesn't correspond to a heart. The number on the slider doesn't correspond to a pulse, right? So the way this works is that you specify like what you think your resting heart rate's going to be and what your highest ever heart rate's going to be. This is way higher than like any human would ever have. This is just a really big number for the sake of testing with big numbers. Nobody's ever going to hit a heart rate of 145. That's lethal. But you have this range, and so what that does is that comes up with a bunch of interpolated numbers that fluctuate between 0 and 1 based on where your current heart rate falls along that range. So like right now I'm above even my highest threshold, so it was a flat 1. If I go somewhere like in the middle, I can look at this again, and we can see that our linear value is 0.42. And as such, then in my VFX section here, this parameter is 0.42. So like the strength of this effect is 42% maximum. You feel what I'm saying? And that'd be the same for any other one that's based on the linear. And there are other parameters. There's one that pulses between 0 and 1 at a speed that is increased as, like, they're all kind of related to each other. So linear is the most easy to understand. It's just like, where are you percentage-wise between your minimum rate and your maximum rate? Then you've got pulse, which ping-pongs between 0 and 1 at a speed determined by this linear value. So the higher your heart rate, the faster the pulse goes. I think that's pretty intuitive. Breath is a similar one, but it goes at a little bit of a slower rate, which is tailored for like if your model has like a breathe. Ooh, wow, it thinks I'm angry. If your model has like a breathing effect or something like that, it would just be more natural to breathe, not at every pulse, but like every couple of pulses. A bunch of these are for custom items, but these are like the 3 that you'd care about. Probably really just these 2. So yeah, like this is now, so this would be, if I knew what this value was, you'd be saying like, so at 0, right, at flat 0, this would be saying, currently we want the strength of this effect to be 42%, right? And it's doing that. And then if we were to crank this up, we'd be saying that the strength of this effect should actually be right now 142%, because it's 1 plus 0.42 is what we're setting this value to be. So like this is maxed out already. If you do a negative, you're dampening it, right? And so that way, when I'm at like a normal, relatively normal heart rate like this, which is slightly elevated but not like crazy, I don't have the wild effects going. But other effects that you wanted that are driven by this might still be in effect. So like if I did a heart mesh tint, we're gonna do just pure red, always a good one. Something like that. Oh, there we go. I forget what my... Something like that. Yeah, it looks like I have a beard, right? But like, so this is driven by that same percentage value. It's interpolating a color for the specified art meshes between no color and the color I specified, which in this case is pure red. Based on, so this is 42% of the way between pure red and no color. So if I slide this back down, you know, it fades away. Crank it all the way back up, it's pure red. Kind of scary, very scary. But that's all of this is based around just like numbers between ranges. And while that's fine for those kind of things, I think for the VFX, that's like too aggressive. With the color, for example, if I wanted to have that not be as aggressive, I could just make the color not pure red, you know? I would make it something that's slightly off-white or whatever color you're trying to match. But with the effect strength, there's not really a way to do that beyond just having a modifier like this, I think. There we go, I'm not angry anymore. So I think that's the way to do it. So I just got to think of a good way to represent this decimal. I think you're probably right in that it needs to be somewhere off the slider. I just don't know where. In a way that makes sense also. Because like what I could do is I can put it before the slider and have it be a number that's like 0 plus and then the drop down. Let's look at that. Let's try that. So first, can I do string interpolation? That actually might be useful here. It's like what? This? Or sorry, it's $sign outside. Something like that, I think, is what I want. Oh, I'm not showing VS Code. My mistake. There we go. String interpolation, I think that'll stop it from randomly fluctuating the number of digits. And then we're thinking I can maybe just do like panel. This would be height 30. Bells and whistles are nice. I think showing the numbers are good. I agree. Gives you more control and you can understand kind of what you're doing. I absolutely agree. I love to show numbers. My fear with this, yeah, VTube Studio does do this for every random parameter. It's true, yeah. I definitely agree. Showing more numbers is good. My concern is always just, am I showing the user more than they really need to know or think about? And I don't think in this case I am. But because this is so fiddly, and there, like I said, there are so many knobs you can tune in, and like individual levers for every single effect, I don't want to overwhelm people where it's already like, cool, you've selected analog distortion. There are 6, 8, something like that, configurable effects that you can modify. Most of them aren't important. You don't need to worry about them, but they're there. Why is this not centering? We could do that. Seribot's doing his job. I love to see it. Thank you, Seribot, for executing another spammer. Height is 30. No, I agree. I don't think it's too much. But there's just like a lot of density of information right here, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we've got our text. I think we want that to left align like this. Let's make our drop down like a little bit less big. 270, something like that. Pivots 1 here. Cool, like such. Yeah, it's like it's such a fine line. You're so close to information overload, I feel. Like 40. 50. So like we could do something like this. Text. I can hide this panel in the background. We don't need to see that. And then code-wise, I can do that. Let's see, does this look any better? Oh, and let's also not set this to auto size. This should be size 16, just like everything else. How does this look? Okay. No. Come on. Come on. One, I'm disappointed that it's not at, it should always be 3 digits. Which it's not. But when we get to 4 digits, it gets really confused. What the hell? That looks so weird. But I think this is the right path. I think, like, hold on. Gotta zoom in for you guys on stream. There you go. Something like this, I think, would be correct. If we just make it fit nice. Where you have your value plus whatever. And then I think my goal is just in the README here, I would need to explain kind of what you're looking at. But I think that makes sense holistically. Especially if your exposure is, and again, I can't show this because I've got like virtual cam for VTube Studio and I'm not about to reset that up. But when you go into VTube Studio, it explains things in the context of numbers between, 0 and 1, or -1 and 1. So I think people will see like, oh, okay, 0.5 plus, whatever the value of this is. And they can know what the value of this is because it's explained down here. So, like, that's fine. Maybe somewhere on here I could also print out what this actually evaluates to. I don't know that they actually care about that information. Anyway, let's get this kind of fitting a little bit better. So our drop down, let's shrink it even more, 250. Text width, 80, 70. Okay, that looks like that'll fit, which is good. It's so weird how it's spacing it like that. Which is not what I want at all. But it fits good now. So I do like that. I think this is correct. I think this is absolutely the correct way to display things. Good hustle. Thank you, Eidolon, for talking me through this. It's great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of like that. Yeah, this seems correct in how I'd want to display this information. I definitely think. Kind of peeved that it's not like also able to be left aligned, but I don't think there's a way around that because I don't want this number to be moving. I hate when numbers move on UI, when they gain or lose digits. So now why is it not always having the right number of digits is what I want to know. Sorry, I'm just online right now reading. I guess I could show you. Oh, yeah, let me open that up in the actual browser for where I'm looking. So the thing I was doing was this one. But that doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't seem to actually be forcing the trailing digits. Like, I always want a trailing 0. Oh! Huh? I think it thinks I'm doing one of these. Do I want to do this one? think that's what I want, but that's kind of what I was doing before. I don't have high faith this will actually change anything. Does the plugin have a save load configuration? Yes. If I understand what you're asking. It makes a save file per unique model, and then from within there you can also set up profiles per model. So like I'm on my default Skeletom profile right now, but I could make like another profile if I wanted to. So you can have like lots of presets for each model. I think that's what you're asking. Sorry, I didn't see your question. No, it's still not doing what I want. That's really annoying. It's like, it's doing the... This is not difficult in any other programming language. Okay, I don't know how long ago you asked, sorry. Okay, so we always get the 2 digits on the right side, which is cool and all, but not what I not what I actually want. If I add a third one here, what do you think happens? Then it's not even showing any digits at all. What? Huh? This doesn't make any sense to me. The mystery of how to format a string with padding. We will literally never know. Well, that's also just completely wrong. I don't understand what this thing is doing. I'm so perplexed by this. This is an example of me entering the nonverbal programming slipstream that I was talking about earlier. Like, why is it doing that? Why does it think... So, like, when it's in a situation like this, is it actually... What is it actually... Panel, effect drop-down list. No, parameter list. First one. Panel, text. No, it is plus 18. So what's the problem? Where's the 8? It's been formatting right this entire time. Is my font set just missing some numbers? I find that hard to believe. It is. That is the problem. My CJK, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean font set is just missing certain numbers, apparently. I didn't load them in. Hold on. Okay, that's very funny. We can easily remedy that, though. Just, we don't need to use that font. It's not going to be translated into... Numbers are not going to get translated across languages. They should just be using... regular. And then let's also add our... Yeah, like this is just using regular. That is really weird. I've got a bunch of different font atlases because I've got text in every kind of character set you can imagine. But material preset, Atlas material. It seems like I don't have all of the numbers loaded in that particular font set, which is weird. I don't know how much that actually matters. So 7, it does seem that 7 might have literally eaten 9 here. You might be correct. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. Could probably even get away with a little bit more spacing between the plus and the numbers, though. Which is an easy fix. And then we don't need this to be quite so wide. We do want to raise this up a little bit more, and this can be like with 40, 50 probably, and then the effects drop down can be with like 270, something like that. Eyeballing it here, having a good time, just having fun with numbers. There we go, that looks good. Thank you. PK Tom, how's it going? Welcome. I'm able to make myself really stressed out. You want to see a cool trick? Check this out. What am I doing? I can just do this on demand now. It's fun. If I percolate my heart rate enough, I phase out of this material plane. Dialed up a little bit more. Yes, I've got all of my fun little dials here. You can control these various effects and their sub-effects, each parameter of this effect, with one of the funny little numbers that this app calculates. So like right now, if I had a heart rate of 131, I would be able to like phase out of existence. But when I go back to like a normal resting heart rate, something in the, say, high 80s, 90s, I'm no longer percolating like a espresso maker. Conversely, if I were to crank this modifier up, I think I would. I think I would be. Actually, why aren't I? If I crank this all the way up, it should be like... Oh, I know why, Because these are also really low at the same time. But like, if I cranked this up, and cranked this up, I'm still just phasing out of existence like a... Yeah, it's how I am. There we go. Reset everything back to 0. But yeah, so you can like choose to drive this from like linear, and the jitter is going to be based on your pulse, and the horizontal shake is going to be based on the pulse, and the color drift will be based on the pulse. And that's fine. We can crank this way down, so I seem normal. And then, uh-oh, game's getting scary. I'm wigging out. Something like that. And then of course you just need to dial it all in, right? These are all fine-tuney little bits and bobs that need to get dialed in, which is not always easy, but it is part of the fun of being a VTuber, is configuring everything. So I think I'm actually in pretty good shape here. This is like kind of exactly where I want to be. I have to put in my strings. So like my to-do for a readme here is missing. My reset, there should probably be a prompt that says like, are you sure you want to reset everything? Yada yada. I also need to like label this button. So let me pull up my Google Drive real quick for doing that. Because I do this all from a Google Drive sheet, which is quite nice. let me make sure I get my actual proper account for that. And my heart rate strings. Again, I apologize for the bright red that you're about to see. These are the ones that need to be localized still. Yes, code off. There we go. So I've got my to-do. Oops. There we go. Tooltip. And I'm going to have a key for the... There's going to be a button that's like, learn more about VFX, and a link to the VTube Studio README. That's just button. Cool, so we'll have that. Let's actually look at the visual effects. Does it say what version this started in? No, that's fine. Short. Let's see. Not actually sure what I want to write in here, but it will be basically something to the effect of you can control these with various output parameters or whatever. And then, what else? That's fine. Let's hop back to Unity for a second. I have my awesome tool, which lets me just pull down the latest CSV. Hey Volt, how's it going? I am hacking. What were you up to? Let me give you a shout out. Proper shout out. Volt here is one of the folks who gave me a run for my money at the time I was doing Pokemon trivia, if y'all tuned into that. This fella can name the type of every single Pokemon in existence, all of creation. Last time I tuned into you, you were playing Sonic 06. I hope that was going well. I think Sonic is always fun. But I didn't get to see that through to its conclusion, so if you're still playing it, Godspeed. If you're not, rock on, soldier, fighting the good fight, that kind of stuff. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is I am working on a plugin that I made for VTube Studio. Hasn't been updated in quite some time, but I'm adding the ability to control all the fun little fiddly post-processing effects that you can have in VTube Studio based on your heart rate. So like, right now, I'm emulating a heart rate of 91 BPM. I did finish it. Yes, Soliana Castletown is like one of my favorite pieces of just relaxing music. I listen to this song on loop when I play games like Dota because it calms me down. It is like quintessential JRPG town music, in my opinion. I'm glad you were able to zero in on it right away. Yes, this is the background music right now is from Sonic 06. It is the overworld music in Soleanna. I think it's great. Great piece of music. The Sonic team always understands the assignment when it comes to music. They got it figured out. Anyway, yeah, so if I were to be playing like a horror game and getting really, really panicked, you can add like cool rendering effects like right now where I'm shaking a ton. Previously, this was limited to just triggering expressions, like you saw it made me do the angry face, or like you could tint part of your model to like emulate blushing. Yeah, so like heart mesh. You can do, I was doing an example before, like pure red, jaw, face, head. I don't remember what my arm meshes are called. Not really important. So like, for example, now if I crank my heart rate way up, there we go. It's like I'm getting really upset. And if I calm back down, we're back to normal. This slider is just to test things with. This has integration with like a Pulsoid, if you're familiar with that. If you have an actual like Ant Plus Bluetooth dongle USB for your PC, you can connect it directly through that. It's got Fitbit support, things like that. So the slider is just for testing. It does actually work with real heart rate monitors to great effect. It's a lot of fun. Iron Mouse has used this. A lot of my friends have used this. It's cool. Mint Phantom recently used this for her anniversary review, where she was re-watching her like debut stream. She strapped herself up to a heart rate monitor and had this configured to make her blush. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna. That's why I'm telling you, you can use like Pulse. You don't have to talk about your dongle. You can use Pulsoid. It's fine. But yeah, so yeah, percolate like a coffee machine, get like super angry, calm back down, and it's all fine. So right now, I'm just finishing up the last kind of bits of this feature, where we want to this one right here, make this a little bit more presentable. It's kind of lots of dials and such. There's a slider that is not explained what it does, etc., etc. So that's what I'm up to right now. I've also got to add like text, my README, which is coming along. Cool post-processing rendering effect called VFX for short. We love that. Gotta actually add like more of it, but that's okay. Anyway, this should be out by like the end of the week, which is exciting. Also, Volt, while you're here, are you excited for Pokemon Worlds this weekend? Are you going to be tuning in for 3 days of like Summer Slam Fest in Honolulu, Hawaii? It's going to be great. It's the last hurrah for guys like Urshifu, getting the vaudeville cane yanked off stage immediately following the tournament. No more legendaries in Regulation Age. Very exciting. I, for one, personally can't wait. So let's go back to VS Code. Let's go to my tooltips, because I think we're actually good on the feature. The feature's like coming along. Where's my tips? Profile, VFX. I think I've flexed about this before, but my UI system that I built for this and have used in a lot of other places is super good. Like my tooltip button just has this big list of where are all the tooltips, and they're all nicely localized. They have like a key value. You can specify title, the actual content, and then you can give it a bunch of pop-up options, just like a unlimited list of buttons, and it will just know what to do. So this will be output VFX button. And this, we want to open the URL to the actual VTube Studio README. I don't really catch the live tournaments all that much, unfortunately. I watched some vids talking about the current competitive stuff, but not much else. That's well and good, that's fair. If you tune in to me this coming weekend, where is it? Schedule? If it loads, pops in. On Saturday and Sunday, I will be co-streaming Worlds, because I have the brain rot. So I'm not going to do all 3 days like I did last year. That was too many hours of streaming. I think that was something like 36 hours of streaming for me across 3 days, which was too much. But I'm going to do day 2, which is like the real brass ring, as it were, of competitors. And then I'll watch the grand finals on Sunday. and that will be on my channel here. I'll be having friends maybe pop in or out depending on who's available. So that's always well and good. And then Thursday, day after tomorrow, I will be streaming my VGC locals as I do every other Thursday. So another fun thing to look forward to on the channel if you're at all interested in that. But back to the task at hand. Here we are. So we are gonna make this direct to the VTube Studio README, which is where? It's right here. Might try to tune in, yeah. So like as I mentioned when I was doing the trivia, I am a like Pokemon professor, which I don't just say to sound like a know-it-all or to gatekeep. It is literally like a title given to me by the Pokemon company. I did like a entry exam for it, and I got a background check. Pikachu has my social security number and conducted a thorough background check on me, for example. And that's what gives me the authority to sanction like local tournaments and work at larger tournaments. So I worked at North American Internats this past June? Yeah, it was June, okay. And I've worked at like the Vancouver Regional. I'm hopefully going to work at the Baltimore Regional, which will be nice. And I run local tournaments every other Thursday, pretty much without fail. Pokefessional. Pokemon, yeah, you got it. You've got it all figured out. That's me. But it always sounds kind of dweeby to be like, I'm a professor, but I do mean it. And that's why I was able to name the types of every Pokemon except Azurill. I did, it's so sad. I actually was playing the game Ape Escape on this channel not too long ago, and Ape Escape 2 features Veronica Taylor as the protagonist boy, and Rachel Lillis as, like, the smart lab assistant girl. They didn't get the guy who voiced Professor Oak to be the professor, which is unfortunate, but maybe he has a union contract or something, I don't know. But it was really cool to hear them get to riff off of each other again in that game, which came out in, like, 2003. And I was obviously very, very sad to hear of her passing. For those who don't know, Rachel Lillis was the voice of Misty from Pokemon and Jessie from Pokemon. And she passed away this weekend, I believe, due to cancer, which is really, really tragic. Yeah, Ape Escape is definitely really good. I'm specifically speaking about 2 here, and I played that on the channel, but that has Veronica Taylor as Jimmy, and Rachel was Natsumi. And she's an orange-haired, smarmy tomboy, just like in Pokemon, which is great. I guess she kind of got typecast in that role. But the voices are very fitting for those kind of characters. And it was really nice to hear something so nostalgic. And I'm very sad that that's like a now relic of the past with her passing. It's definitely taken too soon. She was like 45, 46 or something like that. Really tragic. It's good. It's not Kuso, though. It's like actually a good game. So you gotta be careful about that. I know you like Kusoge. What was I doing? Oh yeah, does my README work? It does. But the text isn't there. Why? Did I spell it wrong? VFX tooltip. Oh, okay, that's why. There we go. Oh yeah, I didn't actually give you the I did give you the shoutout, never mind. I thought I didn't. There we go. I did. We're good. Okay, cool. My tooltip works. Learn more about VFX. You click on it, it will open it up in browser. We love that for me. That works. This needs a lot more content to it. I will write that off stream. This isn't an essay writing channel. I can add like my reset button text. Let's do that. I need to make a pop-up for that as well, which I'll do later. Not super engaging. Those are pretty easy. We're gonna do... there we go. Output VFX. Cool. Okay, so we've got a button name now. Reset all effect parameters. And then a warning. So now I can go into VS Code, and in my reset function here, you guys are going to love this. Hold on. With my reset, we're going to do, where's reset? UI manager.instance. Show pop-up, I think. And then I can just give it a list of buttons, like such. So it's a pop-up option, and I can say color. Hold on. Let me actually check how I format this. I can never remember. I think it's always red on the left, green on the right. But I want to make sure I have a coherent way of showing this. So like if I were to go to profiles right now, make a new profile, load this one back up, delete this, it says, are you sure you want to permanently delete the profile? Skeletom, new profile. Profile cannot be restored once it's deleted. Delete, cancel. So yes, no. Yes, I want to reset. No. Okay, cool. So first one is red. Go back to VS Code. Oops. And we can move the code to actually do the resetting into there, into this delegate. Cool. And then, oops. These don't need to be quite so indented. And we have another option, which is just like no, cancel. Oops. This just does nothing. I think this is like a, what is it? Hide pop-up, there we go. I think that's how I do that. I think that's all I need to do. Yes. Yes. So now, when I go into Unity, my extremely powerful UI pop-up system that I've built will let me just have this work as expected, I think. We go here. Nice. These load correctly now. That's good. I need to fix the text for this, but nope, never mind. Hold on. I need to do one more thing. Latest. And then in my like such. Here we go. Reset all effect parameters. Click on that. It'll say reset all effect parameters. Are you sure you want to reset all configured parameters for the spec? This will set all parameters to 0. I apparently don't have a string for yes. If I hit cancel, it just closes. And then if I were to hit that yes button, it does the reset delegate. Should. Please? Why is it not? Huh? Oh, it does. I also forgot to No, it doesn't. Huh. What's going on there? That's strange. I thought I've got it right here. Button. Generic yes. And then hide the pop-up. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, this is correct. Huh. Why was it not doing that? Why is it not resetting this? That's very strange. It's not resetting any of them. Oh, I know why. I'm in the wrong place. That's why. Sorry, this... I've got 2 levels of reset. I've got the big list, that's every single parameter, and then I have each individual parameter, and I accidentally modified the each individual parameter one. So, we have... Why was that popping up at all, though? Oh, I know why it was popping up, never mind. What I want to do is... this. UI manager, like such. And all of this goes in here. And then in the little one, we don't need to call the UI pop-up tool, we just do the actual work. Cool. There we go. And I apparently don't have my generic yes. So what is the yes? I really don't have a string that just says yes? That's crazy. Well, that's fine. Anyway, if I run this now... and I click reset, and actually do the reset, there we go. They all actually properly reset back to 0. And we're good. Everything is fine. They're not based on any parameters, and they get their values squashed back to 0. Which is perfectly good with me. Yeah, that seems correct. And now I can go back to setting this to be linear, and the jitter is based on the pulse, and the horizontal shake is linear, and the color drift is based on the pulse. I can crank my heart rate all the way back up, and have a real jolly time with it. Get really upset, and I can dial this down, dial this back up. Yeah, lots of fun fine-tuning that can be had here. Maybe the horizontal shake we dial way down. Yeah, see, like, that's fun. And the jitter, we dial it actually up. Or maybe make it linear. See, that's fun. I think, at least. And then I calm down. I stop being scared of video games. And everything goes back to normal. And we're fine. There's no problem. Okay, cool. I think that's probably where I'm going to call it. I've been streaming for hour and a half, which is pretty good by my own standards. That's how I'd like to do it after work. As mentioned, I will be back on... Let's go look at my schedule again. Thursday, at around the same time as I started tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern is when my tournaments start. I'll be streaming the first Regulation H tournament in my local area. That is the format that will be following Worlds, but I'm doing it early because nobody who's going to be at that tournament is going to Worlds. Everybody who's in my local area that is going to Worlds is already at Worlds. So I figured we might as well let them get a leg up on the next format, get some practice in. The next format is similar to the current one, except all legendary Pokemon are banned from play. Yeah, me too. I'm also very excited to see what my locals have for Regulation H. Do know that some of my most exciting locals are competing at Worlds. Like Jacob, for example, is competing at Worlds, and I know Jacob is a storied team builder, a real world-class fellow. But everybody else, I'm sure, will do fine and have interesting stuff as well. So yeah, they're going to do Regulation H. It's not just like Kyogre is banned, it's like Landorus is banned, Cresselia is banned, Urshifu is banned, which is very exciting. So it's back to like a regional power level, which I think is going to make for a really good stream. And a really good format. That's why I want to work at Baltimore. And then again on Saturday and Sunday, starting at around 3-ish and 8-ish p.m. Eastern, I will be on Saturday. I'll be watching like all of day 2 of Worlds, with whoever can stop by. If anybody can stop by, that's fine. With probably doing some kind of administrative ribbon master tasks in between, or some kind of dumb thing in the games. I'll probably be playing some other Pokemon Quest. Maybe I'll boot up my copy of Gold on the virtual console of my 3DS in between matches if we need stuff to do. Who knows? Ribbon hunting, mark hunting, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's going to be all day. Should be many, many rounds of Swiss to watch with lots of good content bits in between. I'll do my best to try and break down why people are picking what they're picking, what's happening in this format. And then on Saturday, or Sunday rather, it's just Grand Finals. It's Championship Sunday. So that'll be exciting. I'll probably watch, honestly, the Grand Finals of each of the games, Go, Card Game, and VG. And Unite, maybe even, depending on what time allows for. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then I will probably take the following week off, and God knows where we'll go from there. Anyway, in the meantime, let's go back to my lovely face, who is still having a minor conniption. That's okay. And let's go find somebody to raid. Once again, thank you, Volt, for stopping by. Lovely to hear from you. Always nice to meet more Pokemon fans. Who's live right now? Yeah, you're Eidolon, thank you in particular for like letting me bounce ideas directly off of you. I feel like I was talking very much in a one-on-one. But it's really helpful. The phrase is rubber ducking in the programming scene. It comes from having like a rubber duck on your desk and you just talk to it as though it's a person. Though in your case, you're able to talk back, which was quite nice. But thank you for being my rubber duck. Let's see, who are we gonna raid? Couple options. I'm just gonna send you guys to friend of the channel, Big Ham. I was looking around. If you want more programming stuff, shout out L:Q. This guy is doing God knows what. Very, very capable programming VTuber. They have a very interesting setup. But I'm going to send you to Big Ham. She's doing some rigging right now, some chill art, which I think is probably like a nicer vibe. Also, I just know her a little bit better. So, I'll probably be tuning into her. So we're going to go to Big Ham. Big Ham. VT. But I wanted to give :Q a shout out because he is streaming right now. His stuff is always very interesting, though it's a much more crowded chat atmosphere, which I don't do super great in. Anyway, go say hi to Big Ham. She's great. She's having a party. And I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Bonus era. And I just got like a ding. What happened? Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you in the final moments of the stream. Thank you for voluntarily conscripting yourself into the digital underworld here. I appreciate it.
Updated and like fuck me again.
Anyway, yeah, so bonus era and good night.
Ew.
Bye-bye.